To tell me about the festival itself. So as the festival unrolls, I know you're in the community. What kinds of activities occur in the community?
Well, this year we're really working on people talking together. And it's a very fun thing because besides these events where we have the moderators, Ara, who I just mentioned, Chris Haley does the pre-concert events on the tennis courts. What's better than having a pre-concert lecture on a tennis court in the bleachers? It's a beautiful location for it. We hopefully will have people speaking all around the festival. I hope to have in our education booth just many conversations. People who've gone through our programs, people from the Women's Committee, and the patrons coming out. We have concerts in the movie theater, we have events in the movie theater, films shown, and one of the great things is just people talking after the festival. Somebody coming out after a performance and saying, I hated that. And somebody else opening up and saying, that was wonderful. And that's music education.
Well, certainly there's certain artists in Europe who, there were riots after they played things. So can you think of an anecdote of a child who really hadn't been directed towards music at all and now is someone who's followed his violin through and is actually showing some talent? We see these little children from Japan who are taught the method and not certain that they're really understanding music at all.
I'm one of those people who, unfortunately, because I work so much with young people in many different levels, I have many stories like that. And we have a student in Ojai right now. He just came back from a week in Washington. He's actually graduated. He is a young scholars tour of Washington, somebody who actually was up for a large acting award several years ago. And he played for years in the Nordhoff High School music ensembles and sang. It was in the musicals and has continued, and he's an actor. He's a SAG actor. And he says by his own account, the first thing that happened to him that got him started was when he went to the music van and got to try an instrument, that picking up the instrument for the first time. But back to the very beginning, back to that program we have in the kindergarten and first grades, education through music. That's one thing that our school programs have gotten away from. I had a kindergarten teacher who had me sing. I had a kindergarten teacher who had me move. She also had me build a small destroyer. So I was into lots of different things. But that's gotten away. Education through music is a wonderful program. It's organized play. It's singing, it's music, it's language production. We are serving our special needs class in kindergarten, and those students are having a wonderful time with it. We are, we're just about to put a little video together. I'm very excited about this, just so we can demonstrate it a little easier. It's a wonderful language program. It's been great for our second language students to have these games, total interaction with the teacher at all times. And everything is built in English. It is a program modeled slightly after some European programs of music education, but it's all done in English, which is wonderful, using English folk songs, things that are in our regular idiom.
So as we come up on the music festival itself, what this particular year, who's the main producer of it? Each year someone gets to have their idea, right, and then
Our music director this year is an amazing pianist, Leif Ove Ansnes. And he is a real worldwide star. And we also have a beautiful clarinetist named Martin Frust, who's coming, and people all over Los Angeles, my colleagues in Los Angeles are very excited because such a well-known player is coming, and the Norwegian Chamber Orchestra.
Now, are these the fellows who play on the iceberg? I think in Norway they actually have a.
I don't know that one. Now I have to go YouTube tonight and see. That actually is something I've probably missed.
Well, and then the Libby Bowl itself. This is I know, being on the Libby Bowl, you could almost step through it at times. It became a little dangerous, and they tore that down. Do you know about how much it costs to rebuild it?
I think we've come through to about the $5 million figure. We're not quite done with everything. We still have one part of the backstage that I hope will be paid for at some time. We have a little bit with our lawn seating, which we have to raise. But it was so wonderful that it was taken down, because as wonderful as it was, it faced the wrong way. It faced the tennis courts, so the audience wasn't really looking at the musicians playing. And And when they took it down, they discovered there was an artesian well underneath. And no wonder they were having problems every year with more wood falling apart. The things they found. And, but they were able to rebuild it. They didn't disturb anything. There were no artifacts that had to be taken care of. And it's a beautiful site now. And I think everyone's very proud of it.
I think one of the things when we're there, Ojai in the summer is awfully hot. As I recall, aren't they bringing in sunshades now?
They do have a regular sunshade they put over, which screens a good portion of the seated audience.
And so with that, it becomes a more comfortable experience. You can. Are there any other activities occurring now in the Libby Bowl? I know as a nonprofit, we've looked at putting together a program for children just as a fundraiser. What other kinds of things are coming into Libby Bowl itself? You have your programs, of course.
Yeah, we have those programs. Soon will be the Storytelling Festival, which actually might have passed by now. But that's a yearly event. Hopefully we'll get back to the Shakespeare Festival that used to be there. There's a lot of people working towards that. There's a Ventura Rotary event which I'm affiliated with, which I'm looking forward to in August. It's actually bringing in a local group, Ray Fresco. And part of it is bringing in the Youth Symphony, which is my group and my wife's, Amy Hagen's. And we're going to bring in some of our string musicians to play string charts along with the band. Looking forward to putting that together a little bit.
So part of when I have patients with certain illnesses, we have to find careers for them. And I know with that summer program, there are other careers people look at. So they're looking at social marketing, they're looking at working one-on-one with the musicians so they can talk about their lives, because the life of a musician is much different than we think. They have to find gigs, they really have to try and support themselves, and they spend a lot of time away from their family. What are some of the other lessons that the interns learn over their experience?
Well, I think all of us eventually learn the importance of making personal connections. And there's nothing like connecting with somebody who's at a different college across the country from you, somebody you can find years later. And it's amazing how this stuff works. A man from the Cleveland Symphony came by the festival office, and I asked him about the new bass player. He's a bass player in the Cleveland Symphony. And the new bass player is the son of two of my college friends. So it's a little bit, sometimes musicians are a little bit like circus freaks. We have a different generation. But I think anybody, no matter how you come to performing arts, any performing arts, you continue to make your connections. And as long as you're not rigid about the potential out there, and as long as teachers are open to the fact that it is a harder economy for everyone, I think you can follow a course that makes sense. I had a lifetime contract in an orchestra in Germany. I play the bassoon. And it was wonderful. And I was there for 2 years, and I could still be there. That orchestra is still intact and playing. And I came back here, and slowly I moved away from being what they call the freeway philharmonic of trying to play 20 different orchestras and driving all the time. And I moved up to Santa Barbara and then to Ojai. And now I teach, I conduct, I play my instrument. And I'm really proud of what we've done at Bravo, the Ojai Festival.
Well, Andy, thank you so much for joining us. So, Ventura, it's time for you to get moving. You need to get moving to Ojai, get to that music festival. We need to support music in our schools. We need to enrich our brains. And also we need to support Food Share so that people don't have food insecurity, that they can think about things other than their next meal. So, Ventura, it's time for you to get moving.